What up, everybody? It's BBKDRAGOON. Today we're hopping on board with an FFA Slayer here on Tyrant. The player is TypeEleven. These are platinum players with one diamond player. And my notes real quick before we jump into this one. Let me find you. There we go. My notes for this say, I want to show off the beginning spawns. I want to say move with a purpose. Pay close attention to your motion tracker. You miss a lot of what I think are fairly obvious things. I kind of get the sense that you feel a bit rushed when you're playing FFA. There's definitely some incorrect grenades that get you killed, and after a fight in FFA, you have to be 110% ready for another person to push you. So, real quick, FFA, I want you to look how close you are to a ton of people. And him. There's 4 people pretty close to you off the spawn, 3 if you count what's reachable. So you see him run by right here. You'll notice that the game just jumped forward. That's a theater mode glitch. That's actually not a recording glitch. Sometimes theater mode just has weird stuff. So you rush and you grab the sniper rifle. By the way, this player began in Halo 4, and he's been enjoying it quite a bit. And it's nice to hear he asked a mountain bike question that I'll answer at the end of the video. So you get a similar spawn, you pick up the sniper rifle, and throughout the game, you're going to be really uncomfortable with that sniper in close range scenarios. In FFA, you're not going to get a whole lot of time to aim that sniper. You're continually going to be under pressure while using it. There's small maps, and there's people pushing in to get kills on you, period. So I'm just telling you right now, Dr. Dragoon recommending a heavy dosage of Octagon play. Because when you get that sniper in FFA, you want to be ready to at least get 2 kills with it minimum. I applaud you for picking up the BR. You'll do that throughout this game. I've been happy with these first 3 replays. You guys have been pretty good about that. And now we're going to come to the point. Let's just explain the map real quick, because Tyrant's sort of weird. You're going to spend a long time just sort of hovering in this area of the map. The real traffic point, the real center of engagement is top mid. This is where a lot of the foot traffic will pass through, and this is where a lot of kills will be going on. In FFA, when you're using your headphones, you're going to hear fights, and you want to interrupt those fights. You know, it's important to not chase kills super hard in FFA. If you spend the whole time just running around the map, it'll get yourself in trouble. But when you're in a spot like this and you're so close to top mid and you hear fights going on, I would definitely direct my movement towards that direction, okay? So we're hanging out, we're hovering to, you're going to push on him. I would have saved that grenade. That guy's probably already bailing out of there. Yeah, and just one of those things that you missed because the BR was covering up was a guy just poking out right there. So we're going to hover back, just sort of hanging out in this area. Slides in. And okay, decent kill. That works out well. And right now you're doing a good job. You're prepared for somebody else to push into you. In FFA, the higher levels you get, when a player hears a fight breakout, he is going to absolutely hugely push on you. Oh man, that was a lot of extra shots that you didn't need. Height advantage. You are the victor. You can sprint in and out, or excuse me, strafe in and out of this very easily. But when you decide, I'm going to jump out here to get the kill on him, you made that kill harder on yourself than it needed to be instead of just staying up here and rapping. So we'll fast forward a little bit, still hovering. There's engagements going on in the center. We keep hearing these assault rifles going off in the center. They're not over here. You're not hearing them. You're seeing the kills go down. Oh, I just missed that guy by a tiny little bit. Nope. These don't move, by the way. I've tried in custom games. They do not move. I've tried to push them off the edge. So, see just the amount of time that you're missing out right now by sort of just lollygagging over here. You're missing out on a bunch of potential kills. The bigger lead you can get earlier in FFA, the better, because as a free-for-all winds down, it's like sharks who smell blood in the water. They get more aggressive. They get way more pushy to try and get those last few kills and take stuff away. All right, you got the trade there. The grenade mid-fight, I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm not going to hold up too long on it. So we finally get a spawn over here by top mid. You're going to grab the light rifle. That's a nice weapon to have in your back pocket. And I'm going to point out one decision right here, because for the next 4 spawns, we're going to make the exact same decision. On Tyrant, you can jump from here to here. And from here, we've already fought up here once, and we also have a nice, easy way into top mid. These wings are pretty cool. So you're going to jump down below the wings. Snipes is going to be up in 10 seconds. Watch your motion tracker. Watch it real carefully. There he is. He's on the motion tracker. He pops around. Okay, not a ton you can do there. He dropped down from above you and got the kill. You were pushing towards the sniper rifle at the right time. Good. And you were going to try and interrupt an engagement. Power weapon timing is a great area to get kills. I'm going to pause it here. You're going to have 2 or 3 people pushing for that sniper rifle. If you show up, interrupt it with a grenade, you might get a kill or 2 out of the deal. So here we are off spawn. We're making the same decision. And we even saw this player up above us by making this decision. Or you should have seen it. Switch to Splinter right away. That would be my recommendation. Also, look at the motion tracker. He's been on it for quite a while now. Still on the motion tracker. And then easy flank. Okay, so second time in a row. We're going to have another spawn. And we're going to do the same thing yet again. So we get a top mid. Grab the light rifle. All very good. Same spawn. And we're going to make the exact same choice. Okay? This time you are going to get to interrupt an engagement, which is good. Tough nade right there. I wouldn't have thrown it. So what a lot of times players will do when they're weak, okay? He dips into cover. And I don't know if he's intentionally trying to bait out a grenade, but by popping out so early while you're in the grenade throw animation, that's why you lost that fight. So we're going to spawn one more time. Same exact place, okay? Let me put the camera back on. And we've still yet to opt for the top jump, which is really like frustrating to me because this lets us see the exact same area of the map, but with a better position. There's height here, there's an escape route, and yet, yes, there's even another escape route where you can thrust down onto the man cannon, which, yeah, you can make an argument that'll get you in trouble. Look at your motion tracker, motion tracker, motion tracker, motion tracker. Little splinter nade, and you're going to probably get killed from behind again. Did we get the double? Oh, so close to the double, dude. So just keep that in mind. Watch that motion tracker a ton in FFA. It'll give away a lot of information that you need. Same spawn again. Are we going to? You called it. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. No, not perfect, I guess. And melee. If you would have gone for the shot there instead of the melee, you probably would have survived. Just throwing that out there. But the melee is a guaranteed kill. Decent double. So we're back up here with a sniper spawn. Motion tracker, sprinting around the corner. Gets the kill, but quick question for you. Let's back it up here. I don't really see a need to sprint here. You're not really moving with a purpose towards anything. And in free-for-all, unless you're rushing to get to an engagement, why sprint? A gun down is a missed opportunity. That's just my 2 cents. Getting sandwiched again. Nothing much you can do right there. I'll fast forward. We're sprinting again. We're sprinting until we bump into somebody. That's not what we want to do. Gun down. Okay. Up to the top mid we go. Still looking. You're sort of just running around looking for a motion tracker ping. I understand that. The action has yet to break out. There he goes. Whoa, 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 whoa. Did we really miss that? That was very clear. You got to be looking for those, man. You really got to be looking for those. There's another one. You missed the first, like, 2 seconds, man. Let's rewind real quick. I want you to see how much time you miss while you're sprinting. So, very clearly on screen, very clearly on screen. I'm very surprised you didn't see that unless you're like checking your phone, checking a text message. So, this is all time. If we weren't sprinting around this corner, we could be putting shots into him. All this time. Look how long he has before your gun is up. Boom. Look where your shield's at. By the time your gun is up, you have lost this engagement before it even begins. Now, I think he chokes here, and you end up... Okay, never mind. He doesn't choke. Yeah. Just be careful with your sprint, man. This is such a small map, and you're always really close to somebody else. Don't make it this habit off the spawn to just start sprinting. That's not something we need to do. Okay. Ooh. Is he gonna get it? Nah. Mid-fight nades. No chance. First of all, that engagement, not a whole lot of chance. Second of all, 2 nades thrown during it. That's a panic move. Don't. Just pepper shots into him. You might have had enough time to go for a perfect kill there, but those mid-fight nades, that guy's never going to get hit by him. He's just going to sidestep him. Nades, the best way you can think about nades conceptually, like that's a wasted nade. Best way you can think about it is a defensive tool, a corner nade. So if you're being chased or you know somebody's pushing into you, you lay that grenade at their feet. So as they come around a corner, they walk into the grenade and you win. They can be used for mop-up purposes. They can definitely do that. Other thing I'll mention here too, Dr. Dragoon subscribed a lot of Octagon because you're extremely uncomfortable with that sniper. You had a lot of time to hit that shot and just didn't put it together. In FFA, you will not have time to ready a snipe without being pressured. It's just not going to happen. How do you get better then? You play Octagon with a friend. Octagon is a custom map. It's a small circle, instant respawns. You and a friend just go in there with a magnum and a sniper and you shoot each other for, 30, 40 minutes. It's the fastest way to really warm up your aim. It helps a little bit with strafing. No, you're not learning how to fight and move in and out of cover, but it's absolutely invaluable to you as a player to grow. And that is where you're going to get confident with snapshots, because in FFA, I keep saying this over and over again, you have to land your snapshots. Goes for the FKs, again, get the second guy, gets the second guy, almost triple. I probably would have chased on that. That's me though. Let's come around the corner here. There we go. Good kill. Motion tracker. Oh, awkward. Oh, so awkward. That was weird. You just gave him a real good fighting chance by forcing that. Oh, okay. Just awkward. Like, really, it was a funny engagement. Whoa, replay mode, seriously? I'm telling you, theater can be weird. Did you see that just switched me off of his perspective? Let's try and find you, dude. There we go. Goodness gracious, theater mode making me work. If I didn't know better, I would be on the other green guy in this match. Pop, 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 pop. Is he gonna get one? Gets one. Oh my chaos, Batman. Let's keep going. And it switched my perspective again, dude. Okay. Same spawn. Boom. That is the kind of kill you're looking for in all of your FFA games. You interrupted the engagement and you got a double kill. So when we spawn in FFA, my good friend Sassy and many other high-level FFA players, you stick near your spawn. You don't go patrolling doing just like a giant donut or sprinting through the center of the map. You stick near your spawn, you listen for engagements like what you did, which this was just like a good 50 feet away, and then you push over, interrupt the engagement, and you're done. But again, be ready. One of my notes here is, after a fight, be ready for another to push you. This dude heard that, and he's out for blood. He wants green blood, in fact. So always be ready to look behind you. There you go. Nice. Interesting. This is just getting weird. All right, let's point out a just shot. Okay, first one. Second shot, third shot connected. So you only need 2 more shots to wrap this up. As he jumps over you, instead of just sort of pushing forward, turning around and finishing him, you could always pull out the AR to finish a kill like this, and in close quarters that's a little bit easier. You do this weird look up at the sky, melee the sky, and that leaves you vulnerable right here. He jumps backwards a little bit. Sprint. You sprint right here, which is a habit you don't want to get in. You're out of magnum ammo, by the way. I would switch to AR. When you sprint mid-fight, you just reset your sprint timer. Unnecessary. And then red guy comes in and just gets the Spartan charge on you. It's always uncomfortable when somebody goes vertical above you, but don't panic. Don't just hit sprint because it's an arbitrary action. And then when it gets up close, dude, you can always pull out that AR. The AR is so good up close, and you will see pros using AR in pro matches in close range engagements. That does happen quite often. So we jumped ahead here. You picked up the sniper one more time. You just walked around the corner and saw this guy. Ample opportunity, man. That's what I gotta say, is he's not even strafing that hard. All right, so we jumped a little bit further ahead in the replay. Sprinting off the spawn. Oh no, is he gonna tag you? And yes, it happened. Careful with that sprint off the spawn. One of the things I cut out is you had another chance with the sniper rifle. Weren't able to put any shots together, so I don't need to sound like a broken record. You know what my recommendation is. Go out there and practice some Octagon and get more comfortable with that sniper rifle. The reason there's a big gap in between the first place guy and you is you've been away from the action. The last, minute and a half, 2 minutes, you've been on the outer rim of the map, not really able to string together 1 or 2 kills. Guy is chasing you, you get a nade marker. Not sure why you didn't turn around. Oh no! Forgot the mantle. That's okay. It happens. It happens to the best of us even. So I think the guy wraps up the game here. Really long FFA if you actually look at this, because it comes down to the last 30 seconds or so. And with how small Tyrant is, I'm a little bit surprised about that. So All right, we'll see you in the notes. Thanks for the replay. Really like your Magnum skin, by the way, TypeEleven. First note is move with a purpose. Too much time spent on the outer rim of the map, not anywhere near the engagements going down. Hotspot was very clearly top mid for this match, so working your way in that direction is beneficial. I'm not telling you to roam because that would get me in trouble. In FFA, roaming is generally something that'll get you caught out in the middle of nowhere more often than not. But you do want to interrupt engagements. And if you're continually hearing 3 or 4 guys in the match out there fighting, and you're on the other side just looking for that one wandering dude, you're going to miss out and you're going to fall behind in the kills. Pay very close attention to your motion tracker. There's like 6 or 7 engagements in this match alone where you could have seen the dude above you or behind you and flipped around and had like a better chance. It's just as simple as that. I don't know how to train for this. It's something that just kind of naturally occurs, I would assume. But maybe make a mental note and give yourself the challenge. I'm going to look at my motion tracker, every 5 seconds or whatever. Just jot down there, look back up, jot down there, look back up, kind of a thing. Mid-engagement, I'm not looking at the motion tracker. Like, I'm looking to try and land my shots, but as soon as that finishes, my eye darts right back to it. You're just touching it with your eye over and over again. Careful with those grenades. Mid-fight, they just rarely ever work out. And also, they're defensive tools. And when I say that you're being chased, okay, a dude's going to push into me, that is when you know you can land the grenade. If you are in a gunfight and you pull back around the corner and you see on your motion tracker, oh, here he comes, you lay that grenade at his feet right at the edge of the corner he's pushing around, walks into the grenade, he's now one shot or he's dead. That's where you're going to find the most kills with your grenades. And that's what makes a really good player scary, because if you push into him, he's going to use those grenades as his resource to shut you down. It gives him an advantage. After each fight, be super ready for another person to push on you in FFA. They're going to hear it. They're going to be pressing on you. And the higher level you get, the more and more it's going to happen. Here at Platinum, every once in a while you have a guy following up after he hears that some kills have gone down or seen that, oh, there's action going on that side of the map. Boom, boom, boom. And your last question, he asked in my email, what's the best and coolest looking mountain bike I can get for $500? Well, $500 in the mountain bike world isn't a whole lot, so I'm going to recommend a 2.9er rigid single speed. That's probably the coolest bike you can get. That also, make sure it has some knobby tires, and is rated for trail, but that's probably the best bike you can get in and around that budget. If you have $1,000 to play with, then you have a lot more options to you. There's a lot of hardtails with front suspension forks that can be used, but I'd probably recommend, again, a 2.9er rigid single speed. That's going to look cool. It's going to be fun to ride, and it's going to give you a little opportunity to just try out the trails. Thanks for the replay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next week.